The 2023 season is quickly approaching and the draft is finalized, so today I wanted to continue my divisional predictions with the NFC North, which includes the Bears, the Packers, the Vikings, and the Lions. I'm going to take into account this past season, free agents signed and lost, the draft class, and the strength of the schedule for this coming season. If you have a different opinion, let me know in the comments below, and let me know what division I should do next. Enjoy the video. Coming in at 4th place in the NFC North, I have the Chicago Bears. The Bears went an abysmal 3-14 last season with a divisional record of 0-6. The Bears going into last season did not have very high expectations at all with sophomore Justin Fields, a poor roster, and a new head coach Matt Eberflus. Fields ended the season with 2,242 pass yards and 1,150 rush yards, which made him their leading rusher. The team's leading receiver was Cole Kmet with 544 yards, which is severely underwhelming, but expected with that group. The offense averaged 19.2 points per game, which was 22nd in the league, while averaging 308 total yards a game, which was 28th in the league. Their defense, on the other hand, allowed a whopping 376 yards a game, which was 29th in the league, allowing 219 pass yards a game, which was actually middle of the pack, and 158 rush yards a game, which was second worst only to the Houston Texans. So in all, this team has a lot of work to do going into the offseason. This started in free agency, the team signing star wide receiver DJ Moore, 2 good linebackers in TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds to help with the run defense, Robert Tonyan to go alongside Cole Kmet, and Nick Davis to give Fields some more time in the pocket. All these moves are positives. The front office needed to get Fields some help at receiver, especially seeing how this type of move can help progress a young QB, like what teams such as the Eagles and the Dolphins did by investing in their receivers for their young quarterbacks. The Bears further invested in Fields by drafting offensive tackle Darnell Wright out of Tennessee at 10th overall. I like this pick a lot, as I really think you need to figure out what you have in Fields this season, as it's already his 3rd year, and the best way to do this is to provide him some help at receiver and O-line. I think Fields is a good young QB. He can make up for a lackluster offensive line and gain some yards on some broken plays here and there with his innate ability to scramble. That being said, he still needs to progress as a pocket passer, and providing an offensive line will certainly help with that. Looking at their schedule, I had them winning about 4 to 6 games, which would almost double what they did last year. If Fields takes a massive leap and some balls bounce their way, maybe calls go this way, that way, they can certainly be in contention for the 7th seed. Coming in at 3rd place in the NFC North, I have the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are a team that up until last year had experienced a lot of regular season success with their Hall of Fame quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. With his departure this offseason to the New York Jets and the emergence of the other teams within their division, I see them taking a slight step back as a unit. This one was tough for me as their starting quarterback, Jordan Love, is a massive question mark, as we really haven't seen much of him since being drafted in the first round of 2020. I think they have some pretty good weapons at receiver and a good group of running backs alongside of the good coach that I think he has the infrastructure in place to succeed. The Packers went 8-9 last season, losing the season finale to the Detroit Lions and missing the playoffs in this winner-go-home scenario. They ended up going 500 in the division and took 3rd overall behind the Vikings and the Lions. The Packers were 17th in offensive yards a game at 338 and 14th in points per game on offense. The defense was 17th in yards a game allowed and 17th in points allowed at 21.8. Overall, it is safe to say they were terribly average on both sides of the ball. Regarding their free agency, they really didn't add or lose anyone that really sways my opinion, other than Aaron Rodgers, obviously. Obviously, it's a big loss, but it makes sense for both sides. The Packers need to see what they have in Jordan Love this season, and ultimately, the Packers were not going to win the Super Bowl this season, even with Aaron Rodgers at the helm. Rodgers, who was close to retiring, put himself in a good situation in New York with a good to great supporting cast that won't have to rely on him as much as the Packers did in recent years. The Packers selected Lucas Van Ness, linebacker out of Iowa, with the 13th overall pick, who I expect to be primarily placed as an edge rusher for him this coming season. Looking at their schedule, I have them winning about 6 to 8 games for this upcoming season and just missing out in the playoffs. Coming in 2nd in the NFC North, I have the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings, led by Kevin O'Connell, are coming off of a very weird season. They went 13-4 in 2022 and took 1st in their division, but ended up losing to the 6th-seeded New York Giants in the wildcard round 31-24 as a higher seed at home. Cousins overall had one of the best regular seasons, and perhaps this is the best he's played in a Vikings uniform. and had a 4th in total pass yards and 5th in touchdowns. He even played well in the playoff loss too. This team has really good weapons going into next year as of now, such as Dalvin Cook, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, and the reigning Offensive Player of the Year, Justin Jefferson. For the foreseeable future, this offense should be pretty electric. The defense, however, is where they struggled and would ultimately end their season. This unit gave up the 2nd most yards in the league, only ahead of the Detroit Lions. What gave them trouble was in the pass game, which as a whole were 2nd worst in the league in total pass yards a game and 3rd worst in net yards per pass at 7.4. They also gave up the 4th most points in the league. This offseason, the Vikings let go of some key players from the last half decade in Adam Thielen and Eric Kendricks. This is understandable as both players were getting up there in age and it was time to go younger. Their major offseason acquisition is Jordan Addison in the 1st round wide receiver out of USC. I'm pretty split on this pick as I think wide receiver is either the 3rd or 4th most important position in football, but offense was not their issue. In their defense, they did have a later 1st round pick, and with all the best corners taken except for Deontay Banks and Porter Jr., I still would have won it with Addison here in my opinion. Overall, I really like their head coach, quarterback, and offensive weapons. I think you can win a lot of football games in this day and age with a good offense, but like we saw last year, this is not going to hold true in the postseason. I expect a very similar year for them, except I just don't see them winning all those one-possession games this year like they did last year. Looking at their schedule, I've them winning 8 to 10 games this year and will most likely end the season as a wildcard team as a 6 to 7 seed. Coming in first place this upcoming season in the NFC North, I have the Detroit Lions. The Lions are coming off one of their best seasons in a long time. Seems like they have done nice for themselves after dealing Matt Stafford to the Rams 2 years ago. The Lions started off the season pretty shaky, but ended very strong, going 8-1 in their last 9 after starting the season 1-7. The Lions went 9-8 in Dan Campbell's 2nd season as head coach, taking 2nd in the division behind the Vikings. The Lions ended up barely missing the postseason as they needed Seattle Seahawks a loss in Week 18 and a win against the Packers, which they did. Jared Goff had himself a really good season, as did the whole offense. Goff was 6th in total pass yards and passing touchdowns and had the 2nd lowest interception percent at 1.2, which was tied with Tom Brady. In all, the offensive weapons are solid with Jamal Williams, Jameson Williams, Marvin Jones, and now Jahmyr Gibbs. The Lions' issue was the same as the Vikings, which their defense couldn't stop a nosebleed last season. They ranked dead last in total yards allowed, 3rd to last in passing yards, 4th in most rushing yards allowed, and were 6th highest penalized team on defense. They did sign C.J. Gardner-Johnson this offseason on a 1-year deal, which will bolster the secondary. With their 2nd first-round pick, they drafted linebacker Jack Campbell out of Iowa. They also drafted Brian Branch, safety from Alabama, which I think will turn out to be a great pick. Him and Gardner-Johnson have potential to be one of the best safety duos in the NFC this upcoming season. The one question move they made was drafting Gibbs at 12th overall. I don't think anybody else saw this coming, nor do I think anybody would have drafted him that early. I won't call it a bad pick, as they obviously like what they saw from him, and if he is one of the best backs in the league, it would have been worth it. They also know more than me, so we'll see how he turns out. I have high expectations for the line this year and expect another leap from Jared Goff, cementing himself as a top 10 QB in this league. And when I say top 10, I mean like 8, 9, or 10. After looking at their schedule of the Lions winning 10 to 12 games this year, this would have them as a top 4 seed and their first division title since 1993. So those are my 2023 NFC North predictions for this upcoming season. The Bears in 4th, Packers in 3rd, Vikings in 2nd, and the Lions in 1st. Let me know what your standings look like in the comments below, and let me know what division you want to see next. Also, let me know if you guys like these sort of voiceover videos. I like making them, but they do take a while to make, and I appreciate you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.